Heat is the enemy of your electrical system. So when you create a lot of heat, that's when you have potential fire problems or fire hazards. We hate to use that word because we don't like to scare people, but it is a reality and it's a fact. When electrical components do wear out, they can become an electrical shock hazard or they can become a fire hazard. So that would be probably one of the biggest concerns in a 60-year-old home. Top concern of a 60-year-old home that's not maintained would be out the electrical panel. That would be your circuit breakers. Your circuit breakers in your panel have one job and one job only, and that's to protect the electrical system of your home. Any wire fail, any direct short, anything happen that could be a potential electrical shock hazard or fire hazard, potentially it should be protected by the circuit breaker. Now, if you have a 60-year-old home, that circuit breaker has been doing its job for 60 years. It's been through a lot of seasons. It's been hot, it's been cold, it's ran a lot of electricity through it to supply the appliances and devices that you're using. And in reality, those devices aren't intended to really do their job any more than 25 to say 35 years. Those are the life expectancies that those manufacturers recommend. 60-year-old homes also do not have smoke detectors normally. So smoke detectors obviously are really important to protect your home. Smoke detectors weren't around back then or that common. In the 60s, it did have old battery smoke detectors that were available that people would install, and then a year later they would die and they just never replaced them. Not that everybody does that, but that's the problem with battery smoke detectors. When in a current home today, smoke detectors run on the electricity of your home, so they don't rely on a battery. They have a battery for backup. Should your home lose power, smoke detectors will still work, but they run primarily on the electricity of your home. And the newer smoke detectors are interlinked, meaning if you have a fire in one portion of your home and that fire alarm goes off, it will alert all of the other fire alarms. So if you're at the other end of the home where a fire wasn't originated, you're going to get notified that there's a fire somewhere or smoke somewhere in your home. So you can see how that would be a big safety feature for my house, 60 years old versus a newer house today. Grounding is a big issue in older homes versus newer homes, which we do a lot of upgrades for homes today to make sure their grounding is up to date. Back in, 60-year-old home, they weren't as critical on grounding. Not to mention that grounding system is old, and a lot of homes that age have gone through a lot of changes, remodels and so forth. When you buy a house, somebody could do some work on a home and damage or disconnect a grounding source. They don't realize because they weren't an electrician. And so grounding, we find that a lot of houses in that age frame have had a lot of work done to them. So we might find part of the house is grounded adequately and another part of the house may not be grounded adequately. And then a couple other concerns on a house that would be 6 years old. Ground fault circuit interrupting, which protects people when they're using electrical appliances or tools, devices in wet or damp locations. A ground fault circuit interrupter, also known as GFCIs, those are intended to protect the user in a situation where you're using an electrical tool or appliance in a wet location. Should electrical connections get wet or damp before they can harm the user, these devices will shut off. And last but not least, probably on the difference of safety of a 60-year-old home versus a more modern home would be AFCI, arc fault circuit interrupters. So meaning if you have an arc on an electrical system in your home, say an old plug, something wearing out, these devices are intended to catch a worn out device before it becomes unsafe. Those would probably be my main concerns in a home of say 60 years old versus today. So recognizing all of these concerns in a home is the main reason why Gubruds Services has actually came up with a home service plan. We have specifically built our home service plan based off of what we have physically seen over the course of the last 30 plus years. Our home service plan, it's called the Guardian Club membership program. And it's a home maintenance system, or it's a home maintenance plan for our experts to come out on an annual basis and perform a safety check on every aspect of your electrical components of your home. An opportunity to recognize or find any concerns before they become harmful or before they could become expensive. We can recognize a lot of that before it become a little too late. I use the word fire, but I approach everything from electrical perspective. I approach it from the standpoint of electrical shock hazard and fire hazards, just because those are the components I think we take for granted, or maybe we don't pay close enough attention to when we own a home today. And we see this in new homes and older homes. We have older homes that are well maintained from the time they were built, and we have older homes that weren't maintained from the time they were built. There's a big difference in whether or not that's a safe house or not. But we also have homes that are 5 to 10 years old, neglected. They still have highly wear and tear items that can become safety hazards as well. So whether your house is 5 or 10 years old or 50 or 60 years old, you really should annually do a check on that. Have an expert come and do a check on that. Whether or not it's a safety component, or maybe you're thinking about getting a new spa or an EV vehicle, can your existing system handle it? We're going to be able to be that person that you can reach out and say, hey, Gubruds, we're going to buy an EV car. You know our house. You come over every year and you inspect it. What do you think about us adding a EV charger at our house? Is that possible? We'll have that data to be able to tell them whether or not they can safely, or what the options would be for them to be able to do that. Not only are we coming by every year and maintaining your home, we're a consultant for you when you're a member of our maintenance program. You ever have a question while you're walking through Home Depot, make some lists of some items that you want to add or upgrade to your home, feel free to call and ask us. We'll get one of the experts on the phone with you and tell you recommendations could be for your home. On top of that, our maintenance program also offers a lot of savings for normal things people do to their homes throughout the life of owning that home. Whatever you're adding, we provide discounts for all of those installs. We also provide priority service. So if you call and you have an electrical need, you get put in front of non-members. I know that sounds maybe a little unfair, but we do believe that if you're a member, we're going to treat you like a member and you're going to get special treatment. And that's why we call ourselves the good dudes at Gubruds.